Good evening, televiewers of Info TV. Thanks once more for joining us on this another program. Of course, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is coming today as just a few hours President Paul Biya returned back to Cameroon. A situation that people now are jubilating all over the 10 regions of Cameroon after seeing their president staying out of the country for over 70 days. Right now, Cameroonians are asking the questions: are things going to return to normal? As President Paul Biya still this very day will be receiving the Lionesses who triumph in Morocco, receiving their first ever Africans or Women's Nations Cup back there by trashing the Malawan site. It was actually a wonderful event, and of course Cameroonians are looking forward to see how they will welcome the Lionesses this very day. And of course this is going to be amongst the topics or the things that we'll be talking as a Game of Thrones unfolds on this very set. But the major question that we'll be asking our panelists, Paul Biya returns, what lies ahead for Cameroonians? Of course, a plethora of panelists are well seated and they are comfortable to answer or to give responses to this very question. Of course, presently we have faces that you do recognize so very well, and they are very familiar when it concerns Game of Thrones. With us, we have a jurist and also somebody who has great insight when it concerns politics. He's no other person than Dr. Mo Waters. Good evening and welcome to the program.
Thank you, my dear brother Phil. It's a pleasure again to be thankful to God for a moment like this. I want to say good evening to all our panelists and to co-panelists, and particularly to the AGM of GBHS. Now, I'm the president. I'm supposed to have been there now 1998, but unfortunately grace did not permit me to be there now, and those who are there, I want to say God bless you. We're together for the deliberations. I equally want to greet the presidential couple, President Paul Biya, Madame Chantal Biya, for the courage, the grace, and the mercy to be able to pilot the affairs of a nation like Cameroon, where everybody has a right and nobody wants to listen to another. As small as I am, if it's difficult for me to manage a family of 3, I start seeing what Paul Biya is going through. I must greet them. When people are doing what you cannot do, celebrate them, because tomorrow you need to be celebrated. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mo Waters, a jurist. And of course, still we have a politician who happens to be a communicator with the MP3 party. He's no other person than Jean-Baptiste Eya. Good evening and welcome once more to the program.
Good evening, Mr. Phil. Good evening to my co-panelists, and good evening to the million of televiewers watching at us throughout the world. It's a pleasure for the MP3 party once more to be represented on this panel. And with your permission, I would like to send my greetings to our national president, President Samuel Iram Iudi, who is just from completing a one-week tour in the Grand North. He had occasion to spend some time in Garoua, Maroua, and then Gaoundéré, where he was given a notable position in one of the chieftaincies there, a decoration that is very honorable as one of the advisors of one of the chiefs out there. So we are very grateful to be here on your panel, and we hope that the discussions you'll be having here with the co-panelists will go a long way to edify the million of Cameroonians viewing us.
Thank you very much, Jean-Baptiste, a communicator with the MP3 party in Cameroon, and he has a lot to say as the program unfolds on Info TV. Still with us, we have a barrister at law. He's no other person than Barrister Lekelefaka Michael. Good evening and welcome once more to the set.
Good evening, Mr. Fee. Good evening to my co-panelists, and good evening to the millions of televiewers of Info Television. It's my pleasure to be here this evening for us to say welcome to Mr. Biya and his delegation, and to in particular I want to say congratulations to the Lionesses for their brilliant victory performance at the African nation which just took place in Morocco. I think the example of the Lionesses should inspire us as Cameroonians to see how we can work. That hard work is the key in all our human endeavors in order to see how to overcome the different challenges that we are going through like a nation. I think with the experience of the Lionesses, it is very, very worth emulating to see how this can be the call for each and every one of us as Cameroonians in whatever we are called to do, so that we can build a nation that we shall celebrate as the President Bobia will be celebrating the Lionesses today.
Thank you very much, Barrister Lekelefaka Michael. Still with us, we have a civil society activist who happens to be known for Laosongwa. Good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Phil. Good evening, co-panelists. Good evening, dear televiewers watching us from all the corners of the world. I want to thank the top management of Info TV for another opportunity given to me to take part in this program and to edify national and international opinion on the work on nation building. I would like to start by, first of all, paying homage to the survivors of the Legnos gas disaster of 1986. You know, yesterday, the 21st of August, made it exactly 40 years that poisonous gas took away more than 2,000 lives. And today, I want to doff my hat to the families, the survivors, and to appeal to government, to the government of Cameroon, to step up disaster warning systems, not only in that area, but in all disaster-prone areas in Cameroon, the lakes, and so on and so forth. I am equally calling on the government to set up a national solidarity fund for the victims of the Legnos gas disaster, so that some of us can reach out to those survivors through our compassionate outreach. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Num for Laosongwa. Still with us, we have a university lecturer. He is no other person than Dr. Cho Walters. Good evening and welcome to the program.
Thanks for receiving me. Good evening to those who are in the Northwest and the Southwest. I want to condemn sincerely daily kidnappings and the ransom during the broad daylight, especially in my 3 Nkwen and my 4, up to my 5 at the Bamboo 3 Corners. So I want to think that at the beginning of this crisis, the aim was not to extort Anglophones, our own brothers, but it was for a genuine dialogue to see how national resources could be redistributed. I will end by greeting my elder brother from here. It's not by coincidence that I'm Dr. Cho Waters, he's Dr. Mo Waters.
You guys are the same names here.
Today I'm happy to see him because he came to solve what you don't know.
He's your mentor too.
He's my mentor. He's the one that the people who did our prescription at the University of Yaoundé to SWA. So I must confess here that I'm following his footsteps. That's right. He came to SWA before me, and when I was coming to SWA, he had already gone from SWA. The government already took him to talk with him so as to use him make peace in the country. So I'm happy to meet him.
And I refused.
He refused. Why should know? He marched from SWA Center and to the right up to the university campus. Yeah. Yes. So we're still young people in those days, and he's celebrating his SWA up to today. So it's one of a model celebrator at University of Yaoundé to SWA. I'm happy to meet him today, and he's already a traditional authority. Of course. So if I did not say that, it would be bad fed from me.
Thank you very much. Of course, the GC examination also, GC is also out.
More grace to you.
Dr. Cho Waters, of course, the GC examination was also out, and Cameroonians are celebrating. At least kudos to those young Cameroonians who just had their certificate this time around, despite some of the chaos that the GC board had previously.
No, there's a problem because, sincerely, we should not be hiding ourselves, saying that we want to speak as if we like some people.
That's right.
When Humphrey Monone came, I was the director of the GC board. The registrar. I had my advance level in June 2008. We had no such delays. There were no frauds. We should speak the truth today that there is something wrong somewhere. That's right. Yes, so the lateness should be blamed to the authorities who manage the GCE advanced and ordinary exams. And markers who are chosen in a very corrupted manner. Those who mark the GCE this year, some of them were not chosen using what we call normative principles. They were chosen using majority, use subjective principles, which means that I have a brother who is a teacher in the one secondary school. and I decide to process his document and facilitate him to go and mark the GC. We're not saying that the GC is not credible. The credibility is there, 74%. Is somebody to be appreciated. I need to congratulate the Minister Naliova Longa, but to blame the authorities of the GC board.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Achu Waters. Still with us, we have a local development expert. He's no other person than Changvi Roosevelt. Good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Phil. Thank you for having me. Good evening to all our co-panelists. It's a pleasure to be here. Good evening to all the wonderful televiewers of Info TV. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Of course, I will dive directly to what we have for you tonight as menu. Of course, we'll be talking about President Paul Biya's returns to Cameroon. What lies ahead for Cameroonians? That will be the major topic that these panelists will be settling on, and it is very obvious that they have a great view towards this direction. But before we get there, let's do have this transition, and we shall be back in a jiffy. President Paul Biya returns. What lies ahead for Cameroonians? This is a topic that the panelists, well seated, are going to digest as Game of Thrones unfold on Info TV. These are it is very obvious that 70 days after President Paul Biya had stayed abroad, most especially or particularly in Switzerland, and it is very obvious that a lot of talks were circulating on social media and across various groups all over the national territory. But a few days ago, the Cameroonian people had to gather and welcome the #1 statesman at the Yaoundé Simale International Airport. This very gesture or this event was saluted by members of government and the entire nation, as people were saying that the president had stayed a lot or have overstayed his presence out of the borders of Cameroon. People were accusing his stay related to sickness and other issues, but his coming has actually quashed a lot of skepticism, and it is very obvious that panelists who are well seated here right now are able and willing to give out their own opinion of what lies ahead, as Cameroonians are expecting a lot of reforms from the #1 citizen of Cameroon. I'll commence with you, Anumfo Lausongoa, who happens to be a civil society activist. You advocate on behalf of Cameroonians, and some people see you as the voice of the voiceless. Tell us, President Paul Biya is back. Is it an event?
Thank you, Phil. It is an event. It is a very positive event because for more than 70 days, Cameroonians had been living in fear. Fear of the unknown. You know, you saw what happened at CRTV when there was a foiled coup attempt and so many other things that happened in the absence of our head of state. So his coming back is is a source of hope and a source of joy. But what are Cameroonians expecting of him after his return? It
is very obvious that Anumfo Lawson will be coming towards the direction of expectations, yes, as of now. But it is very obvious that before his departure, or when he was still out of the borders of Cameroon, talking about Europe, there were a lot of complaints coming out or stemming from Cameroonians, even civil society organizations, and also some stakeholders out of the borders of Cameroon. Do you think that his return at this particular moment has quashed all directions or all doors or openings of complaints?
It is his actions in the coming days that will enable us to answer yes or no to that question. Because, you know, as when he was out, there were speculations were rife as to the things that were going on wrong or right in the country. Now that he has come back, we expect a lot from him. Especially, you know, Cameroonians are expecting a cabinet reshuffle. They are expecting the convening of the highest judicial council. They are expecting a whole lot of things. But I, for one, President Biya is back. I want to, if I were to advise him, I would say the first thing that Cameroonians need at this moment is a word of confidence from their head of state. A word he should, at least even through an interview, grant an interview to let Cameroonians know that I am back. I am back on the command seat. I am back on the driving seat. Let us work together. Then secondly, the head of state has come back and people are expecting a cabinet reshuffle. We need rather a reorganization of the government of this country. Our government is too bloated, 60-something ministers. I expect him to, merge some of these ministries so as to reduce spending, inefficiency, and duplication of functions at various ministerial levels. Secondly, we expect him, to prepare this. By the grace of God, he is 93. President Biya should see that his real enemies are not in the opposition. His real enemies are in the CPDM. The event in CRTV should tell him that his real enemies are in the CPDM. Therefore, he should organize, I am expecting that he should organize free, fair, transparent, credible elections, municipal and parliamentary elections next year, so as to inject new blood into the political landscape of our nation, so that by the time he is going out of this existence, because one day he will surely go out of this existence, God will call him one day, so that when he's going with his head high, that he has injected new leadership blood to steer the affairs of state.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and for Lawson, I'll come to you, Dr. Acho Walters, who happens to be a university lecturer. President Paul Biya is back in the country. Do you think that Cameroonians right now are celebrating his return?
Some Cameroonians are celebrating his return. Some are not celebrating. We should be sincere. Right. Those who are not celebrating are those who are saying that he has appointed people who are not governing well. So that some of his collaborators are wicked, and they think that everything.
So you are telling us that there are some category of people who are planning for his downfall.
Yes, who are around President Paul Biya, who are planning for his downfall.
And you can identify them.
Yes. Why not? Why not?
We have names. Those we cannot give on TV.
Something to be here hiding, huh? And what time again?
We are not afraid to speak on TV again.
Do you know what? Yes.
But Dr. True, you have the floor. Dr. Walters will come to you very soon.
There's no problem. He can intervene when I'm talking.
We can't have two people talking on stage.
There's no problem. What I'm saying is that those who are happy for President Paul Biya's back, they are right, because those who are not happy and who are enemies of the, because you have to differentiate into three categories. We have enemies of the Republic, who wants President Paul Biya to be dead and not alive. We have the second categories, who are people who love President Paul Biya and who think that he's a Messi. Me and one of them, Dr.
That he's a Messiah.
He's a Messiah. He entered Cameroon just like Jesus Christ entered Jerusalem.
And how is where they should go?
They were keeping everywhere clean, even at post and trap. People came out with brooms, loincloths. Loincloth, the CBDM. The President Paul Biya was welcomed like a Messiah, just like Jesus Christ entered Jerusalem. That's how he was welcome. It's symbolic. It's biblically symbolic. The third categories are some of his collaborators who wants his downfall and who wants to replace him. That is how President Paul Biya was welcome in Cameroon. And I think that since he has been on power, he knows Cameroon.
So you're telling us that him staying out of the borders for over 70 days was a strategy to come and deal with this category of people?
It's not the first time. In 2016, let's go back to his. In 2016, he spent 96 days within 5 months outside. That's from February to March, from June to May, from August to September, from September to October. The accumulation gives 96 days. In 2017, he spent 20 days. In 2018, he spent 20 days. And then in 2026, 74 days. You understand the progressive increase. The increase of the number of days spent outside, you discover that there is an emergency. It's an emergency.
Emergency on what?
Of preparing a new Cameroon.
For the
Third Republic.
For 44 years?
No, 44 years is not the problem. 44 years is not the problem. Olingingema, I mean the Obiangema. Obiangema has spent how many years on power?
Cameroon is not Equatorial Guinea.
More than 45 years.
Cameroon is not Equatorial Guinea.
Just an example that the longevity in power does not mean bad governance. It doesn't mean bad governance. It can still be bad governance, but it doesn't mean bad governance.
So you are telling Cameroonians that the governance system in Cameroon is perfectly okay?
No, I'm not saying that it is 100%, but I'm saying that it is adjusting towards perfectness. I'm not saying it's 100% because there are areas where there are no roads. I went to the market the other day. I bought 4 fruits of tomatoes for 200 francs. So the purchasing power is very low. The economic is not really stable. So we cannot say that everything is perfect, but we are saying that as President Pobia has come back, we are expecting him to change the government.
People were
appoint the vice president.
People were jubilating.
So that can impact the population.
Doctor, people were jubilating before his return, and when he was returning to Cameroon, people were jubilating in all the 10 regions of Cameroon to see President Paul Biya. Before he left, he was there. Why is it that it is only when he's coming back from another country to Cameroon, his fatherland, that is when people are jubilating?
His absence speaks more than his presence.
That's right.
And he has used it as his political strategy. That is why he has gotten those who are his enemies. And I think it's a political blow to his opponents by coming back and spending more days abroad than ever. This is the first time in history. It's a political blow. And one thing is a sign that he's preparing a third republic. And the third thing is that he's going to bring down his enemies.
Thank you very much.
President Biya's enemies are in the CPGM, not in the opposition.
Thank you very much.
That he should know that. And he should take steps to organize free, fair, transparent elections if he loves his nation, so that the real people can come on board.
Thank you very much. I'll come to you, Dr. Mo Waters. You happen to be, of course, a jurist. It is very obvious that you have good knowledge when it concerns politics also. Now, it is very clear that when President Paul Biya was out of Cameroon, politicians, leaders of opposition party in Cameroon were making a lot of statements concerning his stay out of Cameroon, and some were even going to the extent of saying that he is not capable of handling a position of responsibility again in the country. But his coming right now has actually rejuvenated some of those things that Cameroonians thought it wouldn't actually exist in the country. Now tell us, as a politician also that you are, and a jurist of this magnitude, do you think that his coming actually has created an atmosphere of sympathy that will actually draw more Cameroonians to adhere to some of his policies?
Thank you very much, Mr. Phil. I endorse everything with Dr. Chu, and without any repetition, I can only add. President Paul Biya should be reminded that there are Cameroonians who prayed his death, and when he came, they were the Simale.
Are these people politicians?
Same people dancing.
Are they politicians or
you
opposition party?
You are a journalist, you know where to place them, not me. Secondly, President Paul Biya, when he left the country, those who were guilty of having killed Bebe Matisse and were handed over to the judiciary and given death sentence are still living among prisoners. They are alive. In 2024, we had an ENAM graduate who decapitated the biological mother into pieces, cut off the head, put it in a handbag. I was about to go and through. I was caught. And this same boy killed the grandmother.
But he has been sentenced.
To what?
Cameroonians need to know from you.
To death. Is she dead or alive? This boy is telling you they will not do anything. So, if the head of state is back, let something be done. We're talking about just 2 instances of multiple cases of infanticide, killing ritual crimes everywhere.
Doctor, were they orchestrated by some of the leaders of the opposition party?
Don't distract me. Which people what do they ever know about ritual crimes? Ritual crimes! And the judiciary has done its work. When something is good, we celebrate it. There are many Cameroonians outside there who believe that life sentence or death sentence no longer exists in Cameroon. When I went on air in 2016 and volunteered to be given a rifle to kill those fake Anglophones who auto-proclaimed themselves of death, desecrated same emblems, auto-proclaimed themselves of state, taught our children from nursery an anthem that does not exist in this world, I was given names. But 10 years after, it's multiplying.
Doctor,
and I'm about to give a second volunteer.
Doctor.
If those who wear uniform cannot kill, give me gun. Let me finish these people.
Doctor,
Cameroonians, people cannot sleep.
Doctor, Cameroonians knows you as not a murderer, and we are still to identify you as a murderer.
I want to become one because of this case.
My brother,
thank you very much, Doctor. It is very clear still that Dr. Waters, at this point in time, Cameroonians are expecting a lot of reforms within the administration in the country. And what do you think actually President Paul Biya is coming? In the past years, he has come with a lot of slogans, and these slogans actually Cameroonians want them to be implemented to its entirety. Do you think this is a time?
Any person who is a Biaist like me, who knows Paul Biya, should know that I do not share power. When he became president of the republic, and Aijo had to become president of the UNC, he dissolved it to CPDM and had to govern the two. Where we are now, this is a man that is in control. Article 66 of the Constitution is becoming the same like the post of vice president. I want to be very afraid that if you are expecting Paul Biya to appoint a vice president the days ahead, take paracetamol. Because he will not come fast, because he's a man that will calculate from the left, he comes from the right. He can share any other thing,
so
but not his power.
Dr. Waters, you're telling us that
want me to learn.
President Paul Biya is unpredictable.
And that's what makes him a mystery. He has a book, the Biya Code. Presidential silence.
But Cameroonians do not want somebody that's mysterious.
How did they bring him to power? Did they choose it? Why did they want to dictate who he will replace him? The way he became president, who is going to be to hand over to the next president. Our problem is that the person taking over should behave like him.
Cameroon is not a dynasty.
It will become like that. It's one already.
Thank you very much, Dr. Waters, for your elaboration.
I don't wish it to, but it's already becoming one. Because whoever becomes the next president is dissolving the CPD to create his own Biaist.
Thank you very much, Dr. Waters, for your elaboration. I'll come to you, a communicator with the MP3 party. It is very obvious that at this very moment, some of you belongs to the opposition party, and your president has been advocating for a change in Cameroon. Seeing President Paul Biya coming back with an entourage that do appreciate his effort and strength, do you think he's capable of manning all that he promised to Cameroonians on November 6, 2025?
Well, before going into your question, let me just you talked about our president, national president Samuel Irami. You know, he was one of the only or the first leaders of the opposition parties who stood up boldly and denounced the long stay of the president out there, and then he proposed the parliament to take up their responsibility and vote for a law that limits the stay of the president out of the country.
Going there next year.
And then he also went to the extent of telling the parliament as well to take themselves, to give themselves the competency to get to the constitutional council, so that the constitutional council to see clearly into it if we are still governed, if our president is still having the aptitude to govern us. I think well, that was already a sound that we are out for the betterment of Cameroon. We are out for Cameroonians. Now, to come back to your question, now the many people acclaim the coming back of the president of the republic, and for many reasons. And that may not only be because of the joy of seeing him, maybe because of being his followers. But I was talking some while ago before coming here with a businessman. He's a famous businessman around, and he was telling me about his fears because he is operating in schools. He was telling me about his fears. If the president had not come back, the repercussion they could be when the academic year could start. Will we be having some stability?
Cameroun is a state of law.
Yes, but do we have right now a clear plan in case there is a vacancy at the helm of the state? Are we sure that the plan that is right now here can guarantee stability for all Cameroonians? That's the question. That's what makes us to be somehow at ease seeing the president coming back. At least there's some kind of stability. But how long will this stability stay in the state of affairs right now?
Jean-Baptiste Eyaya, it is very obvious that from the look of things, it's like your party is sympathizing with the CPTM party in Cameroon. Now, if your party is sympathizing with the CPTM party,
that's a very big declaration. And I want to know where exactly do you, as a journalist, and maybe people who perceive it their way, where do you see the sympathy between the MP3 party and the CPDM?
Now, it is a question that I ask. Is your party sympathizing with some of the policies of the CPDM?
Obviously, no. We think, first of all, we would like to appreciate the longevity in power as a political party, being able to keep power, conserve power for more than 40 years. You can applaud that. That is, in politics, we can salute their longevity because they have been able to play the game to conserve the power. But what do we gain? What do you perceive in that longevity of power in terms of the living condition of Cameroonians? Have that longevity in power been beneficial to Cameroonians? That's the question.
But when the president stepped from the airport, Cameroonians turned out massively to wave their hands and say Papa is back.
Sympathizers and militants of the CPDM and the ruling party came out. Government administrators, those who were supposed to be there, were there, but for various reasons, of course. But I would like to say that the vast majority of Cameroonians were not on the streets. You can bear with me, be for geographical reasons, or maybe because of their own personal feelings. And I would like to say that if we have some kind of peace, seeing back the president, is because of the stability it may guarantee. Because as the laws of the state stands right now, as the state of affairs is right now, if there is a kind of vacancy, can we guarantee a stability of the country? So our main purpose, and I think that's the feeling of many Cameroonians, seeing him back was kind of relief. So at least we can still live comfortably, that there's somebody there at the helm of the state. But now, what is the real impact of the president being there in the life of Cameroonians? That's what we are supposed to be talking about right now.
Thank you very much, Jean-Baptiste Eyaya, a communicator with the MP3 party in Cameroon. I'll come to you, Jangvi Roosevelt, who happens to be a local development expert. It is very obvious still too that Cameroonians have been expecting a lot from the government of President Paul Biya, and before he departed the borders of Cameroon, a lot of talks has been going on, and a lot of economic development even out of the borders of Cameroon. Out of Cameroon, he had to sign a lot of decrees commanding the government of Cameroon, the Ministry of Economy, Planning and Regional Development, to proceed with loans from various financial international institutions across the globe. Now tell us, President Paul Biya is back in the country. Is it a guarantee of financial stability?
Well, politically, we can say yes. It's a guarantee of, of financial stability. But now, as usual, in our context, we always have this issue of implementation, and that is where the problem is. Because at the same time, earlier this year, we decided, that is, the government decided that we are going to plafonner our, our debt to GDP ratio.
Are you a member of the CPDM?
When I say our, are we not Cameroonians?
Right on.
Right on. Cameroonians. So they said we will plafonner our debt to GDP ratio at 50%, which is below the convergence ratio in CEMAC, which stands at 70. And presently, when you look at the debt to GDP ratio, we are at 43.3%. But at the same time, we had put, the ceiling at 50. But at the same time, we keep taking these loans. That is where there's a problem. So there's some issue in terms of coherence. Because we are already at 44, you say we'll end at 50. But now you see every day they keep signing decrees, you know. For us, it keeps increasing, it keeps increasing. It's problematic. And that is why I said some time ago that this signing of these, some of these financial securities that the head of state was signing, to me was problematic in the sense that in terms the coherence, is he really the one who signed? Because when you look at our own laws that we decided, we say we are putting it at 50, we are already at 44, and you keep signing more and more and more. So there is a question mark at that level. But nonetheless, he is back. Of course, all the rumors, the cacophony surrounding his absence, at least for now, we can rest with that. The infighting left and right, of course, it remains. But nonetheless, Cameroonians are expecting a lot from him. And I think one thing that drew my attention when he was absent is Cameroonians had to start thinking maybe out of the box. And in that light, I realized that there's a legal lacuna actually in our current constitution as to who announces vacancy to the Constitutional Council. Of course, the new constitution, that which was revised and supplemented in 14 April 2026, precise that is a vice president. So for now, we do not have a vice president. So in the event of Article 6 sub 4, which says in the event of vacancy. So where we are now, if there is vacancy, there's nobody to announce it actually. There's nobody to announce.
We have the civil cabinet.
Yes, the director of civil cabinet.
No, that is, we are talking about the constitution. The constitution precise that is the vice president who announces that there is vacancy to the Constitutional Council. Because the Constitutional Council does not auto-saisir. It is not juge et partie at the same time. So that at that level now, Cameroonians have to think out of the box. I will realize, myself, I realize that we have a legal lacuna at that level presently because we do not have a vice president. So, of course, we still have the pressing files on the table, cabinet reshuffle, succession, vice president, security issues left and right. I think Dr. Cho made mention of that. We see killings, we see harassments, we see kidnappings, particularly in the northwest and southwest. It's like today you hear that it's going down, the next day it skyrockets. You don't understand what is happening.
So that is business.
So, yeah, it's actually business now for some.
Thank you very much, Changi Roosevelt. Still in the economic aspect of this very matter, recently the World Bank and the African Development Bank also came out in collaboration, or they do corroborate some of their outings, saying that Cameroon, of course, has been borrowing a lot of money, and due to their investigations, these monies are not channeled towards the direction for which it was meant to be channeled to, and it is a cause for concern. And the two financial institutions went further, stipulating that some of the projects that were being dedicated within a period time frame of 5 years in Cameroon extends now to almost about 10 years, and it is also a problem of finishing as compared to other countries that actually do have the same amount of money, proceed with the same project, and at the end of the day realize the same project within a very short frame of time. President Paul Biya is back. Do you think he's going to fight against this?
Well, I don't think so, because he has been there for 44 years now, and we have been having, that has been recurrent. We have projects that are not completed, others are highly built, you know. We even have others that have been paid but not executed, what we call locally les éléphants blancs. So it's not a phenomenon of today, it's something that has been recurrent.
So you're accusing the government of being corrupt?
Is nothing strange. We see it every day. Reports have been produced
we know that there's corruption
by the audit bench, by Consupe, and you know the funny part of it is that we are one of the few countries with 5 institutions to fight corruption. 5. But at the same time, the corruption is still at its top. So we still have that problem of governance. And I still think that something is lacking at that level. The head of state is not hitting the hammer with these people who practice corrupt acts. Because if 1,000 people, you know, steal government money and you punish 10, what is the impact? The impact is not felt.
That's right.
Punish all of them. remove them from the system, because they are doing it with a lot of impunity. That after all, what will happen? So you see them, they do it
like
over and over and over and over again, and every young civil servant who wishes to get into service, he just continues. So they have discovered that, well, maybe you just need to belong to a certain cycle, and from there you can do as you want. You are protected, which that is not how a state is supposed to be.
Thank you very much, Changvi Roosevelt, a local development expert, Barrister Lekelefak Michael. It is very obvious that you are a legal mind, and you do advocate for justice, peace and tranquility and even equality in the country. Now tell us, President Paul Biya is present in the country, and he has been preaching moral and rigor over the years. Do you think these are two categories of statements can actually now penetrate the government, given the fact that for over some time now Cameroonians believe they do not meet up with their expectations thanks to certain hurdles that engulf the entire government operations in the country? Is it the right time?
Mr. Enchi, thank you. I think if I have to go with the experience of 2004, that the president came out in similar circumstances, and he had to make a speech which it was a promise of when people were expecting his exit from this war, and he gave Cameroonians 20 years and more, and in 2026 again he stepped out, and there has been a lot of cacophony surrounding his welfare, his well-being, and that he has returned in complete silence. We have not heard any statement as of the moment. I think there is consciousness on his part that something has to be done, which is to say that, and if something has to be done, it means he's conscious of the fact that the cries of Cameroonians is at the peak of Cameroonians are at the peak of suffering, agony. That something must be done, and done differently from the way he has been doing. I think and remain hopefully that with the presence of the Holy Father in this land, that in the month of May we saw the Holy Father in Cameroon, and that he prayed with us Cameroonians. He left, and we can see the fruit of his visit from what the Lionesses victory at AFCON.
So it is thanks to the Pope's visit that Cameroonians are now benefiting from.
It is a miracle. It is a miraculous victory.
So that people came and gave the Nations Cup to the women.
This is let's not look at it that the prayers, the blessings that follow the visit of a Pope are always not the ways of man. The ways of God are not the ways of man. The Pope came to Cameroon, he left, and now as Cameroonians, what is the positive thing that we have experienced after his visit?
Over Biya, not us.
You see,
Biya is Cameroon problem, not us.
You see,
as the what happened to Paul Biya after he left, has ever seen left Gapis left Yaoundé? No asking.
Doctor Mo
came for Paul Biya and me. I'm power to manage Cameroon. What happened?
I'm talking with respect. I'm talking with respect to Cameroonian problems, Cameroonian issues. I'm telling you that we have a blessing that the African Cup of Nations has been won by our ladies, and this is a door of blessing that football, which is a uniting factor. Football is something which unites Cameroonians all over the national territory, can be a door through which President Paul Biya can use to address a lot of issues.
But the barrister.
The victory which has given Cameroonians some little joy can be a call for President Paul Biya to see that this joy which has reigned a bit during this short while of the Nations Cup should continue by taking actions which will continue in that vein.
Barrister, before you proceed with your declarations, this WAFCON was won by the Lionesses when President Paul Biya was out. But over the years he was in the country, why is it that Cameroonians had not the opportunity to win this cup.
That is why I attributed it to the Pope's visit, that it is a blessing that we receive from the Holy Father.
Thank you.
And if you want to even go further, you will discover that he, like some my co-panelists were calling him the Messiah. I think they have their reasons for calling him the Messiah. You discover that even at the message of the African nations is very, very teaching to Cameroonians and to the world at large. That if President Paul Biya hosted the Nations Cup in Cameroon, in Yaoundé, and our ladies were defeated, then he sent an envoy out to Morocco who represented him, and this envoy came with a trophy. It is something which is to call his attention to tell that perhaps this time is over. A different person can bring more blessing to Cameroon than him being there. This is a message.
It stands to his resources.
It's not the resources of Cameroonians. Let's not begin. This is a problem that we have in this country. I think some people are calling him Messiah because they know what they are benefiting from him.
No.
Cameroon is not the land of Paul Biya, and it will never be the land of Paul Biya. This is a land which is this is a land which is created by God, and we all are subjects. We all are God's creation. So,
we're living like a curse of garbage.
We are.
How can a family land be cursed with garbage?
And you are Messiah. You are Messiah Paul Biya, whom you call your Messiah. Why can he not be the Messiah?
You are the one calling Messiah.
You call him Messiah. I did not call him Messiah. That's why I'm calling it the land of God.
Which land governed by who? By who? As we're talking now, Paul Biya receiving those who won trophy. Does he know what some of those girls went through before winning trophy?
And when you call him the Messiah, then he has the world's knowledge to manage the country.
Only 2 times daily.
Which is
when I'm going out, when I'm coming,
which is to pay attention. Like I was saying, that this is a message that at the Nations Cup we can have 2 lessons. First, at the level of the blessing that we have received. The second thing that we saw that the PM representing the head of state brought back the trophy, which is to tell the head of state that it is time a different person can command the affairs of this nation, and perhaps the blessings which he wants, or his dreams that which have been shattered by his close collaborators and he himself.
Thank you.
Because he all chooses those people to come and squander the taxpayers' money in the way they have been squandering.
Thank you.
So I think today we can be sure that after being out of the country for more than 70 days, there are a lot of expectations that Cameroonians do not want to come and hear promises. Cameroonians are tired of promises. They are tired of speeches.
Thank you very much.
What we want, Cameroonians are expecting change at the helm of the state.
Thank you very much. A change at the helm of the state. It is very obvious that as one of the panelists just mentioned the issue of garbages that is flooding the city of Yaoundé, Cameroon's political capital that is considered as one of the best in Central Africa sub-region. Of course, this is a cause for concern. I just want to put this into you, Dr. Mo Walters. It is very obvious that you have a concern towards this direction. Do you think that President Paul Biya actually is coming to put an end to this? Because before he left Cameroon, this issue was still there, and the Minister of Urban Housing and Development actually was working towards this direction to make sure that it becomes a thing of the past. Now he is present, and you say you keep vomiting twice. Now tell us, do you think that his presence, President Paul Biya, who happens to be somebody that you appreciate so much, and you consider him as a demigod, is he present right now? Is his presence right now considered as a solution to this problem?
Which problem? President Paul Biya does not panic. That's what I admire about him. You can die, he does not panic. Secondly, he's not emotional. Whether the entire nation is burning, if he wants to act by tomorrow, he sleeps today. That's Paul Biya for you.
Is that a good quality of a leader?
You can choose. I have chosen that. My problem is Cameroonians like us are taking Paul Biya, who've abandoned all for you. And they're asking us, what have you done for us? That woman vomit twice every day. Elections are coming up. Paul Biya is not a messiah, he's a politician. Politicians don't think about future.
Dr.
They think about future elections.
Dr. Motas, you're contradicting your own
I don't contradict myself.
Said that he is a demigod.
On the day he represented one. What's wrong about that? If I change now, you describe me. You can describe my dressing the way I dress. If tomorrow I dress like you describe the way I dress, that's all about it. I'm just being honest to myself. I wasn't born with a problem. I never went to his Catholic school with him. Who told you? Do I know his date of birth? Ask me about you when to swallow together.
Yeah.
I can talk about that. Don't call me out. We talk what we see. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. But don't distract me. I'm informing you that President Paul Biya don't panic. If he wants to sleep now, whether Cameroon is burning, he will sleep. But unfortunately, that sleep has created camps at the helm of the state between the Bulu camp and the Beti camp, which she has the power to neutralize or come down with a decision.
So you are telling us that the presence of President Paul Biya at the
helm
of the nation has created a two segment of a group of people that are fighting to.
You are the one saying it.
So you are saying that that's what is coming. That's what is coming up in the coming days.
Because of
it's already there.
It's already there.
It's not coming
and we are telling him that, Mr. President, in your absence, the nation was divided. Whereas Cameroon is one and indivisible. If you don't know it because of age, we are still young. We are informing you, like your children, that after you left a battlefield. And any old man after 80 must not be told by the law to ride your wheel. People are fighting inheritance succession battle. And if you don't know it, prepare it now.
Thank you.
And the battle is not for the well-being of Cameroonian, but individual problem.
Thank you very much, Dr. Waters. I'll come to you, Dr. Cho Waters. You happens to be having the same names, and you have the same academic qualification, doctors. I'll put this to you. There was this serious problem of understanding when President Paul Biya landed at the Simale International Airport in Yaoundé, as people were expecting him to stem from the plane directly and come and greet the people, as he's been doing that in the past event. But this time around, it was a different case, as his presence actually was shown to Cameroonians only when maybe at the end of his departure, or when he was actually heading towards the Unity Palace in Cameroon. Tell us, was that a problem?
There was no problem. It's just simply a matter of wisdom. We have seen some European presidents who even came into their countries and they just announced that they have arrived.
But in the country. In this case, Dr. Cho Waters, it is different, given the fact that Cameroonians have been longing to see the #1 citizen to return back home and man position of responsibilities. They wanted to see him stemming from the plane and greet as it has been in the past.
Just like Dr. Mo Waters, I have studied President Paul Biya. He doesn't like to justify, because the fact that you want to see him step down on the plane, greet people, so that you to justify. He does justify about what? He doesn't. He has already gone past that level. 226 is no more 2018. It is no more 1919 or 1992 or 1982 or the years 2000. That's my own perspective. That's my own look of things, according to where I'm saying. President Paul Biya has gone past that level to be justified. So they just have to announce that he has arrived. Today, you people will see him at the Unity Palace. If you want to see him, you go there. You will see him. So he's not a child to come down from the plane, start justifying, make videos and talk. No.
Now
that's why I'm saying that.
Dr. Cho, before you proceed, before he left Cameroon, of course, there were some information stemming from various members of government saying that he's going to be there. He can be there for 80 days, and some others were saying that he will be back soon, and he didn't come as expected of these leaders in the country. Does it mean that these people or these government officials were communicating from their own personal perspective just to gain favor from President Paul Biya? And do you think that since the president is present in the country, there's going to be some repercussions? Yeah, from your first question, I think that they were communicating to defend, to maintain their positions, to be maintained. They're defending their positions. That's why they were communicating. And then secondly, the presence of President Paul Biya is going to solve so many problems. Yeah, because we're in a period of transition. And we don't know what will happen next. But the president has not yet declared himself not worthy to proceed with his mandate. That's not what I said. I said his presence will resolve a lot of problems because there are segments around him that have been created. And the segments that are ready to go into war are to see that they are being maintained, because you know they are already future prisoners. So what we are saying here is that before leaving, he left publicly, everybody saw how he was living. That's right. But on coming back, it's because of the rumors, because of what we say, that led him to behave as such. Okay, before you also like to justify himself. Before you continue, just like any other presidents in Europe. Yeah, before you continue, Dr. Cho Waters, I just want to send across this information to our televiewers that please, we do not receive calls for now. We take just messages. You can connect with us, send your messages, send your opinions through the numbers on your screen on WhatsApp or SMSs. We're going to read them, send them across to Cameroonians so that, of course, what you have in mind as contribution on this issue might also be connected to the world. But before I come back to you, Dr. Cho Waters needs to get some of the opinions of Cameroonians who are writing all over the 10 regions of Cameroon. I commence with this one. Good evening, dear panelists of Full TV. You guys are doing a marvelous job. Your panel is so full today with people who are level-headed. I love the intervention of Dr. Mo Waters. You are doing a good job. But please, Doctor, be calm so that we can understand what you're saying. You are saying a lot of things that are very important to Cameroonians. This is Mirel writing us from Bafoussam.
Thank you.
Sending a message directly to you, Dr. Mo Waters, that you should be calm so that at least they can actually understand what you are trying to set across as information. We proceed with this one. Good evening, dear panelists. I'm writing you from Makumba. What a wonderful program. I'm watching you on Canal Plus. My contribution goes thus: President Paul Biya is already in Cameroon, and it is very obvious that Cameroonians right now are happy. Some are happy while others are disgruntled because he is so closed in his decisions. People do not actually understand what the president is expecting of Cameroonians. He just come out once in a while and speaks to Cameroonians, and that is all, most especially on special occasions like the 31st of January, 31st of December, and also 11th of February. We need an active president that will actually be communicating to Cameroonians at every point in time so that we can work together so that his agenda 2035 might come to pass. This is somebody writing from Kumba without any signing. We proceed with this one. Good evening, dear panelists. I'm writing you from Yaoundé, Mendong. I am Joseph. What a wonderful program. I keep watching you live but on Facebook, but for now I'm watching you on Canal Plus. What is happening? Actually, we have a problem with our Facebook page for now, but it is going to be reinstalled in no distant time, so just be patient. Thank you very much for your contribution. We proceed with this one. Good evening, dear panelists. I am Juan, writing you from Mangaunduri. I just want to tell the panelists that we are tired of seeing President Paul Biya. Since I was born in Cameroon, it is only one president. Even if he's working so very well, we need a change in power. We need somebody that will come with another ideology so that Cameroonians can actually adhere to his own ideas and proceed with development in this country. We cannot be having one person manning a position of responsibility for years. It becomes redundant. Even this issue also directs to various ministerial departments in Cameroon, where one minister will man a position of responsibility in a ministry for over 22 years. This is not nice. We have Cameroonians who are educated and are capable and willing to man such post of responsibility. We proceed with this one again. My name is Waters. Good evening. Good evening, panelists of Info TV. I am writing you from Bamenda. What a wonderful program. You guys are doing a good job back there at Info TV. My problem goes thus. President Paul Biya is back in Cameroon. And so what? We need
Let's
to...
talk about kidnapping and my phone.
Please, let me continue with this message.
Yeah, let me talk about Bamenda.
President... Please let me continue this message, please, gentlemen. President Paul Biya is back in Cameroon, and so what? When he was in Cameroon, issues that he left continued. But presently he is in Cameroon. We are happy that he is in Cameroon. He should take his responsibility as the president of this nation and not organizing birthday ceremonies or events that we instead spend Cameroonians taxpayers money. This is somebody writing from Bamenda without no signing. We take this one. It is very obvious that it is coming from Gabon. Good evening, dear panelists. I am Ngema, writing you from Gabon. My problem goes thus. You guys in Cameroon, actually, we in the past we considered you as a role model, but the way things are going right now, we are no more looking towards that direction. Please, you guys should change the manner at which you guys are ruling that country. It is a very beautiful country. I was once in Cameroon, and food is very cheap as compared to my own beloved country. There are so many things that are very good in Cameroon, but people have decided to take these opportunities to grab wealth for their own benefit and their family. You guys need to change at this moment. That's somebody writing us from Gabon. He's called Ongema. I don't know whether it is a woman or it is a man. We proceed with this one. This is George writing us from Douala. Good evening, dear panelists. I'm watching you from Bonaberi, Douala. What a beautiful program. I just want to say kudos to the proprietor of Info TV. You are doing a marvelous job. Mr. Phillips Enchi, you're doing a marvelous job. Keep it up. In Cameroon, we have barely few programs like this in English where people air out what Cameroonians are expecting of them. This is something that needs to be applauded, and I want to appreciate the effort of Diodone Veng, who is a promoter of Info TV. Nobody can stand against you because we are for you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, dear panel, dear televiewer. We proceed with this one. Good evening. I'm writing you from Belgium. I'm watching your program on yes, I'm watching your program. Actually, it's very obvious that we are on free-to-air decoders, and you can get us across the globe. Good evening, dear panelists of Info TV. You guys are doing a good job. We are in Belgium. Actually, there are so many things that are not going well. We want our president actually to understand the cries of our Cameroonians. Youth are suffering. We have opportunities. Those who are at the helm of power, they are blocking some of these opportunities for youth not to attain. But we want to believe that President Paul Biya, of course, has had enough time to rest, and this is the time for him to proceed with strong decisions that will curve out some of these bottlenecks that are hindering progress in Cameroon. We love our country, Cameroon, and there's nothing more as beautiful as Cameroon, because we keep working to see that this country or that country continue to be the heaven on earth. So we are calling on President Paul Biya as of now to work in collaboration with us in the diaspora, and also take reforms or make reforms that will change the economic situation of Cameroon, so that Cameroonians can be independent and not only concentrate on entrance examination, in bracket concours. That's what, of course, that's Cameroonians are writing all over the world. I just want to come to you, you see some of the reaction. Now I'll come back to you, Dr. Walters.
It's okay.
It is very obvious that
it's okay.
It is very clear, that you listen to Cameroonians who are reacting, talking about the one reforms that actually will change the economic atmosphere in Cameroon, because economists keep saying that before a nation becomes that great nation as compared to other Western nations that are powerful economically today, they need to promote small and medium-sized enterprises in Cameroon. Is it the time for President Paul Biya to do that?
It is more than time. You know, Phil, before this program, many Cameroonians often say that When President Biya is there, people don't even feel the impact. When he is not there, people don't feel the impact. But it is by God's grace that he has reached 94 years. And I want to appeal to him that God's grace does not last forever on somebody. King Hezekiah was a Jewish king. He was on, God sent him word and told him that, please, you will die this night.
Yeah.
Prepare yourself, write your will, do your things, put your house in order. King Hezekiah prayed to God because he was a very good king.
A man of good work.
Yes, he prayed to God and God listened to him and added him 15 years to his life.
Because of his good work, no
yes,
business.
He added 15 years to his life so that he should put his house in order. I believe that President Biya has gone to Switzerland and has come back. It is God's grace. Just like King Hezekiah, I want to believe that God has given him time to put the Cameroonian house in order.
No for Lawson.
Yes.
Man of God, let me think, because it has to do with theology, please.
Okay.
King Hezekiah's prayer was a remembrance of good work, not grace. Oh God, remember my good works and add me.
Thank you very much.
No grace.
Thank you very much.
What has Paul Biya done to Cameroon that he should pray for more work? That's what we should talk about.
That's what we are saying, that
no grace, works. My good work should speak for me at the moment when I'm powerless.
Let's assume what you are saying is right.
Oh, good works.
Yes.
What I did when I was strong.
Yes.
God, now that I cannot stand, give me another chance to do more.
Doctor, he has a
Doctor,
I'll come to you.
I'm sorry.
I buy what you are saying. But what we are saying is that if God has given you this grace again, if God has added some years to his life, because from all indications, you ask a question about his presence in the airport. There was no protocol at the airport to show how people were greeting him, because from my reading, it was because of the head of state's poor health. And so they did not want to expose his health situation to Cameroonians at the airport.
No for Lawson.
That is my own reading.
No for Lawson, before you proceed with this particular issue of poor health. For the past 44 years in the country, there has been reforms that has been trying to transform.
That is why I'm coming to
that. Why is it that in case you are saying poor health, does it mean that there is no reliable medical institution in Cameroon that can take care of a serious issue rather than going?
Cameroonians have talked about that and they are tired. Because going abroad for medical attention, it costs the state a lot. We have general hospitals here with very well-trained doctors. Why can our head of state not go to these hospitals and have himself checked? Let's leave that aside, that maybe one's health is one's personal or one's private issue. That's right. We are saying that he has gone and he has received maybe treatment from Switzerland, and by God's grace he has come back.
There was no communication that he was sick.
No, I'm saying that by my own estimation.
He has the second chance.
Yes, my own estimation. God has given him a second chance to right the wrongs of the 44 years that he has lived in this, that he has worked, he has presided over the destiny of this country. What I am simply appealing to President Biya is that he should see this last return as God's special grace to enable him to put the Cameroonian house in order before going. You see, I just want to cue in from that caller from Belgium who talked about the diaspora. Some of the reform Cameroonians are expecting that President Biya should reorganize the government and create the position of a Secretariat of State for Cameroonians living in the diaspora, so that Cameroonians who are there should be given the opportunity to come back and invest. They are equally expecting our government to grant double nationality to our citizens abroad, so that all the money that our young people work out there, they can come back here and reinvest. You see, there is something that I wanted to talk about in this.
Right on.
Yes.
A few seconds.
You see, the reorganization of our government is important. Some ministries have to be merged, and it is a categorical imperative. That is why I'll tell President Biya to spend more time and reorganize the government before carrying out a government reshuffle, because it carry out a reshuffle within this organization now. It will be garbage in, garbage out. Some ministries should be clicked, they should be merged. Tourism, culture, Minifop, labor minister, they should be merged.
We'll be coming to our positions, but before we get there, I just want to get
you asked me a question. I have not. Let me write.
Yeah, a few seconds.
You see, President Biya has come back now. Let the Anglophone problem, the crisis that is going on in the Northwest, let it preoccupy him. We have been talking on this set about the need for another dialogue. Another dialogue to complement the 2019 major national dialogue. We need it. President Biya should come back now, release those prisoners of conscience, and bring on board all the separatists. Hold another dialogue, community, that he has talked about community dialogue. We don't know how the type of community dialogue that he wants. How does he want it to play out? Let him give us the orientation. Maybe through the formation of a committee that will see into how that community dialogue should take place.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Numfola Osongwa. Doctor, you had the floor before I had to cut it off. Let me put this into you. The 50 billion francs are promised by President Paul Biya to inject to the youth and the women. Do you think President Paul Biya right now is gearing towards that direction?
Regarding to economic situation, it is too small. Our balance of payment is we have a deficit of balance of payment. We have our macroeconomic situation. We are talking about macroeconomic situation. We are talking about households. So their purchasing power.
So what about people who've been expecting these money to be injected to make sure that the promises that he did a few years ago or a few months ago should not be in vain?
That's why we call economic policies. Please, when you take a political decision, you need to look about the economic situation. We have instruments of economic policies and economic policies.
So he was not well consulted before airing out this statement?
He's well consulted, but just that it is a political decision because it will have no impact. There are economic facts. Indicators are there. We have 3 economic policies. We have monetary, budgetary, and what we call
tax policies.
Yes, the tax policies. About the tax policies, you yourself you can already imagine what is going on with taxes in Cameroon now. The budgetary policy, they have not launched the budget. Are you aware of that? The budget of 2026, the finance law has not been launched.
So you're telling us that this 50 billion francs CFA is expected to be implemented in the 2026
the impact will not be, it will not have a significant impact because the budget has not even been launched.
So Cameroonians should keep waiting?
No, they should be patient. They have to be waiting and ask for more from Biya.
For how long?
For how long? I'm not the president.
But he's the Messiah. You're Messiah.
I say he was really like the Messiah. I did not say he's the Messiah.
Wow.
And I want to end with this. I want to end with this.
I want to help you.
My elder brother has said something very important. I think that we should talk to Amber Boys for 1 second.
That's true.
At the beginning of this crisis, what was the ideology? To divide Cameroon, right?
Yes.
Now, the ideology now is to fight Anglophones. The person who called from Bamenda is not telling you that at Nkwen, Maitirin Nkwen, somebody came with a car and a bike and they removed somebody from another car and left with him. And population, people are looking.
Nobody is saying
help Biya to solve Anglophone crisis. We should help Biya to solve. We are not denouncing. And people are just there, people are selling. They came at my 5 junction, they did the same thing. They hijacked somebody from the corn box, took his money and left and shot somebody on the leg.
Doctor, if President Biya could go to Switzerland and come back, it means that he can go to Bamenda. He can go to.
You are not understanding that. Say we should
let him equally just take one weekend and move up to the northwest, move to the southwest, and meet his children. The people of the northwest and southwest region need the fatherly embrace from him. Why is he not going?
We're saying that some people have taken over the struggle. Anglophone crises have become Anglophone enemies.
No, it's because of the absence.
Can you go and bury your loved ones in the village now?
It is because of the absence of the father of the nation go to this
to bury my former principal.
Address his children.
To bury my former principal in Santa. To bury my former principal in Santa, they paid 1 million francs to Amber Boys. Amber Boys, please, you have become Anglophone
enemies, not Anglophone crisis. You are kidnapping people and asking ranks of amber boys. Is it the division of the country that we were fighting for? If, under hypothesis, on quack, that we are fighting to divide Cameroon, are we dividing ourselves Anglophones? I'm asking the question to amber boys. How can you kidnap people on the broad daylight? You take money from them and you say that we are Anglophone crisis. No, it's not possible.
Thank you very much, Dr. Acho, for your intervention. Of course, the message that you're trying to send across has been set across. I'll come to you, Barrister. Please, let's maintain some order on set so that we can proceed without any problem. Cameroonians, millions of Cameroonians are watching both home and abroad. They are watching us. I come to you, Dr. Barrister Lekelefaka Mike. Of course, there are two doctors, so it's very obvious that you two ought to maintain this name as doctors, but it's very obvious. I put this into you, Barrister Lekelefaka Michael. Tell us,
diplomats,
President is present in the country. Cameroonians, of course, have been urging or looking forward to see other changes in various spheres in the country. Tell us, what do you think President Paul Biya needs to do at this moment that should be pertinent to Cameroonians, given the fact that since he was out, people were always calling on him to come back, which of course in quote is a sign of love that they have for their president, to see him present in the country. Now that he is back, what does he needs to do to make sure that those people who always seek his presence should be comfortable with his presence?
Mr. Enshi, those who seek his presence should be comfortable with his presence. I will begin by saying that I think my co-panelists have been hammering on the Anglophone crisis. You will discover that the Anglophone crisis today, if Dr. Cho Waters and Dr. Mo Waters, they are talking about what is taking place in Bamenda, it has been taking place in the Anglophone regions. It's no news today.
But there are other regions too.
You know, understand what I'm saying, which is to say that what? If we are on close to 10 years of crisis, and the President of the Republic, as the commander in charge of in chief of the armed forces, and in various speeches, he has not failed to commend the effort of the security forces to retain, to keep and maintain, safeguard security in the regions which are affected. I think it is a call to say that the option that you went for, he was properly misinformed about the option that he took for the Anglophone crisis. And that is why the Anglophone crisis is a call to draw his attention that you have come to the end of your own time. It is in history, everybody, every generation has its own peculiarity. And today, when you are talking about what should I be expecting, that is why I want to begin by saying that if I have any expectation, the first thing is to see that Cameroonians should be at peace. The fact we are talking about the Anglophone crisis, what about the northern regions that we are talking today? Is there peace in the northern regions?
Not at all. So
you discover that the President Paul Biya today cannot manage these issues. Now that is why the greatest expectation as a Cameroonian should be, I have heard your cries. It is time I take my leave and let another person take the command.
Barrister, you mentioned three regions, the northwest and the southwest and the far north region, which of course has been a cause for concerns in terms of security threats in the country. That is very clear. But what about these other regions? Even in Yaoundé, there are people who cannot mend for themselves. There are people who barely have 200 francs to eat per day.
Thank you very much for that question. In Yaoundé, I'm not saying that in other regions which I didn't mention, there is actually the people are living happily. Why? But at least there is some degree of assurance that as you are stepping out, you can come back home. But in these other regions, when there is insecurity, once there is insecurity, you are not sure of what can happen to you at the next minute. But it is not the same here. Here we have problems of hunger, we have problems of garbage everywhere, as Dr. Mo Water has been talking here, which is to say that the problems that we have today is a call for a different person to take over the reins of power and see how a different dynamics can be injected into the society, so that Cameroonians can come now to share in this vision, and through that shared vision, we shall contribute to taking the nation to a different level. To come out to take this nation towards Agenda 2035. Not Agenda 2025. Agenda 2025 is that of President Paul Biya. I said Agenda 2025 is that of President Paul Biya. If a president comes, if a different person takes over the reins of this country, I bet you within 2-3 years, this country can be an Eldorado. We have everything that it takes. You've been talking about loans, talking about the budgetary issues. I think if President Paul Biya is conscious of the fact that he stayed out of Cameroon. While he was out of Cameroon, he asked for loans to be contacted on that in his absence. He should equally question how many milliards has he stayed for 2 months and above costed Cameroonians. So if he knows that today he is more of a burden to the Cameroon's treasury than an asset that we can rely to say that our president is working. So you're telling us that he's tired. That's what you're telling Cameroonians. How many milliards? If he's asking his minister to borrow money, is it billion you're talking about? Of course, billions. How many billions has he spent out of Cameroon for more than 70-something days that he has been outside? So if he is conscious of the fact that is he the president? His long stay out of Cameroon. His long stay out of Cameroon is costing a lot to Cameroon. He can say it is time I take my exit. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Lekelefaka Mike. I come to you. It's not because we are elected that we should stay in power. We can actually be elected, but we hand power to say I have been elected. It is time that I live for another person. But I thank you people to have elected me. Thank you very much. This is an act of humility. Thank you very much, Mr. Lekelefaka Mike. I come to you, Achangwi Roosevelt, an economist and also a local development expert. Tell us, Cameroonians are in dire need to see development these days come to pass. They want to see projects realized in the country. They want to see good roads. They want to see infrastructural development. President Paul Biya is back. Some people were hailing him at the Simalen airport, saying that the father is back, even though you guys were saying that he's sick. He's no more sick. He's not sick. He's capable and he's going to run the affairs of the nation. Now, how are Cameroonians going to benefit of his coming back?
Well, I think concerning his coming back, one, maybe everybody who was, stagnant on the spot, not working, maybe some of them will now get to start working. Financial institutions or maybe corporate bodies that were intending to settle in Cameroon were skeptical within this period when he was out of this country. Do you think this is the right time for these gigantic financial corporate institutions to come into Cameroon and settle and provide an El Dorado atmosphere for business to exist? Well, business-wise, most of them will be very risky for them business-wise. That is because we see the infighting every day, and succession in our country for now is not assured. It's not really assured. When you look at it practically, nobody knows what will happen tomorrow in the event of the vacancy. Like I earlier explained concerning in the event of vacancy, we don't know who is actually supposed to announce the vacancy, for at least for now, looking at the constitutional amendment. So these guys, these big guns, these financial institutions that we are talking about, of course, they are wise people, because they are not like us. Like when I say us, I mean Cameroonians. We don't take decisions because we are always taking decisions blindly. They take calculated decisions. They take statistics. They work on statistics that this is a situation. Okay, we can take this direction, or we cannot take this direction. So to me, for them, I think they are reasoning that is not really wise for now, at least for now. While waiting for things to stabilize, while waiting for the cabinet reshuffle to come, change some people at the helm of some ministries, while waiting for the appointment of the vice president and all the like. But nonetheless, we have been talking about the purchasing power of Cameroonians. You see, as time keeps going, it keeps reducing because inflation keeps going up. And when you look at the inflation rate in Cameroon, Generally, they say we are 3%, but practically in the field, we discover that inflation varies from region to region. The price of a gas for a gas bottle or this 12 kilograms in Yaoundé 6,500, 7,000, sometimes 8,000. In Bamenda, you hear 12,000. But
the standard price of this commodity is set at 6,500 francs. That
is what I am saying. I am talking about practice in the field. Inflation rate varies from region to region in Cameroon. That one is a fact. If you look at prices of certain things in Yaoundé, in Bamenda is not same, in Boya is not same, and that's a very, very big problem. Because as you are saying, we have an institution, a whole ministry in charge of that, but you don't see them working because they are there to control these prices. But at the same time, you see businessmen will take upon themselves, they will tell you transportation this, transportation that, and so on, which is, of course, a legitimate claim that they can make. But nonetheless, what does the law say about this? So we still have that problem of implementing what we ourselves have decided. So purchasing power keeps going up. Earlier we talked about, Doug was talking about tomatoes in the market. The same thing. People don't, before, with 100 francs, for example, you could eat your beignet beans and all the like. But now, I don't think with the 100 francs you can really eat anything and be full.
So what's the message?
Which was something that was done before. With 100 francs you could eat and be very satisfied in the morning.
The message to President Paul Biya and his government?
Well, I think the message to President Paul Biya and his government for now is that he should respect his engagements. He made very, very important promises to Cameroonians, particularly to the youths and the ladies. But for now, we are still waiting. The youths of Cameroon are still waiting. He too has a lot of fights on his table concerning the Higher Judicial Council. It hasn't sat now for 6 years. That is something serious. It is handicapping the judicial system in Cameroon. I think this, in terms of urgent fights, that should be among one of his top priorities that he should handle. You know, that the file of 50 billion. I think he should make it clear to Cameroonians what is the way forward about this 50 billion, which Cameroonians is he supporting, and then he also announced, you know, enlarging HIMO projects. Where are we with these HIMO projects? Because we talk of HIMO projects here, we are talking about these high-intensive labor projects wherein you don't need to you know, give contracts to contractors for them to execute certain works within the community. You get the community themselves, you pay them directly, they do the labor every day, they mark their names and you pay them. That is a way of reducing unemployment, poverty.
Yeah, that's a very good strategy to reduce unemployment
within the community. So, where are we with these HIMO projects? It should be, you know, it should be made clear. You know, the HIMO project should be more and more, and let us see it. I mean, we have been talking about debt. We could use the management of refuse in Cameroon through HIMO. Get the population, pay them on a day-to-day basis to get these things out of our road, because you keep waiting for the council. The council too is having a serious problem. Why? Because the new law on local taxation is a problem. The government has re-centralized local taxes back to the central government. They collect and then they say they will redistribute back to these councils. And you know, when the government says they are collecting to later on redistribute, it's always a problem. And that is why you see the city councils are unable to solve this problem, because they do not have the money. The government has re-centralized back the money and is given to them at their own pace, which is not correct.
Thank you very much, local development expert, Jangvi Roosevelt. I come to you, Jean-Baptiste Eyaya, a communicator with the MP3 opposition political party in Cameroon. Of course, President Paul Biya is back. Cameroonians need reforms and so on and so forth. Tell us, what message are you sending to President, Head of State, President Paul Biya, so that he should proceed and create an atmosphere of cohesion, in short, intensify cohesion in Cameroon, so that each and every Cameroonian can participate in the growth of this nation?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Phil. You know, we are contingent beings. We, by the force of nature, one day or the other, we shall leave this world. And if God has given us this chance to be here, it means that we need to make the best use of it. And especially when we have reached the natural point where we expect at any time to leave. And every grown-up person, when already seen his last days, would like to see his house in order. He wants to make sure that once he leaves, there is prosperity, there is peace, and there is tranquility. I think this new mandate that was given to the head of state And this chance of living should be the occasion to make sure that things are stable, things are prosperous, and the Cameroon is set to be able to survive in case there is a change at the level of the state. And now, what I would like to send as a message on behalf of the MP3 party and on my own personal behalf is that we should have a complete change of the ruling body of this country, because the people ruling us right now, be it politicians in our council or the parliament, or those in the ministries, are characterized with a certain degree of lukewarmness or laxity, which is not benefiting Cameroonians in no way. So the first point would be a reshufflement of the government, making sure that the right people are placed at the right time on the basis of meritocracy, not any other base, and make sure that these people are held accountable, and all the mechanisms are put in place that their work is checked, so that for the greater benefit of Cameroon. And let these people be imbued with the spirit of patriotism, putting Cameroon first. I think if we have this set of people having the power, concentrated in our councils, concentrated in our parliament, concentrated at the helm of the state, we will have less than 5 years to be able to be where we would like to be as a prosperous country.
Thank you very much, Jean-Baptiste Yaya. Dr. Mo Waters, it is very obvious that Cameroonians are expecting a lot from you, and they want to see those propositions stemming from you, so that it can actually transform the nation from where it is and to a place that they are expecting to be in the days ahead. What message are you sending to President Paul Biya now that he is back in the country, is at the Unity Palace receiving members of government and the individual lionesses?
Thank you very much for this opportunity, Mr. Phil. I think Cameroonians have been very patient enough, because nobody have fought another one because President Paul Biya was out of Cameroon. But coincidentally, some people have taken the return of President Paul Biya to hostage. It's supposed to be a national celebration and not a partisan issue.
Good.
If we are honest to ourselves, let's build those listening to us. Secondly, Cameroonians are expecting President Paul Biya to be able, in the days ahead after receiving the indomitable lioness, to hold the Judicial Council of Magistracy, so that magistrates who are doing retirements, promotions, those who have committed crimes should be punished, so that they can give space. And for once who have a NAM launch, I talk with the pain of a teacher who do repetition for a class that you expect to see 30, go and see 5. Because magistracy is just 5, taxation is 5. Because 1,000 people are doing retirement, they refuse to go on retirement. Retire them, give space, so that the pay rule of the state can breathe a bit. Lipo Mutaze can die for nothing because of this thing. That's why we're breaking the head of state as you are back. You are the father of the nation. If finally, and from the Northwest region, to remind him that, Mr. President, as you have come back, if you forget to know that those representing you in the regions are using money as a factor to prepare candidates for the next elections, don't forget that if money must be a factor, then unfortunately we'll be able to mobilize people from any source to vote for the poor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mo Waters, for your intervention. And it's very obvious that Cameroonians are, of course, adhering to what you just aired out. Dr. Cho, it is very obvious that Cameroonians want to get their opinion. President Paul Biya is already here. Tell us, what are you expecting of him?
Well, we're expecting that he should sign the files that are on his table, and the ones that we are asking him to do, that's all. He should free us. He's already there, he should free us, that's all. Free us means he should sign the files. We have the cabinet reshufflement, we have the vice president,